Hello, good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put those questions in the comments because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to answer your questions, and also every night, with a few exceptions, I come on here and I give you good information. And so tonight I'm going to stick with information about VAWA. I'm going to talk about what the prima facie determination in a VAWA case means. So, individuals, you at some point, if your process is going well, you'll get a prima facie determination. And so I want to discuss that for those of you who are already going through the process. It is something that you should be looking out for, or that you should or that if you've received, it could be a good sign. Vince Mami, so nice to see you. I hope all is well and everything is going in a good direction still. And I'm so glad that you could, and I'm glad that you're sticking around for this. Yep. So now the prima facie determination, is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? It is a great thing. Now, prima facie, oh boy, I'm so sorry about that. I hope that you're having minor symptoms and it's not anything serious, but rest well. Make sure you're taking your fluids in, and just get well soon. Now, with the prima facie determination, right? Now, first, let me go back, give you the basics so that you understand the topic I'm talking about tonight. So I'm talking about the VAWA process. It is a way for some individuals to apply for their own work permit, their own permission to be here in the United States, their own permanent residence, as long as they can prove that they're in a situation, a particularly abusive situation, or where they're being subjected to extreme cruelty by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, spouse, a parent if they're under 21, under 25 in some cases, or by a U.S. citizen, son or daughter who's 21 and up. And even if the mistreatment happened when the son or daughter was under 18, you'd still have to wait until they turn 21 to apply for this. But if this is a situation that you're in, then you could qualify for this form of relief to get status in the United States, even if you're currently without status. Your children who are under 21 and unmarried, if they are without status, even if they're outside of the country, they could qualify for this. Now, proving this, I went into great detail yesterday on the topic of VAWA. If you want to recatch details on that, you could watch. If you're on YouTube, you could go to the previous live which was last night on YouTube. I'm the immigration attorney. You can also access the channel by going to the link in my bio. You can also go to Instagram. I post videos about VAWA, and I post videos. I also post lives there. So you can watch the live about the details about VAWA. But tonight I just want to focus on the prima facie determination, which is after you have submitted the application. So after I submit the application for my clients, I look out for the prima facie determination. And what that means is that if once you apply, thanks so much for the love, once you've applied, at some point, usually about 3 months into the process, you will get, and it could, now keep in mind, it's not down to a science as to when you'll get the prima facie determination. It could take longer than 3 months. But for my clients, I'm seeing an average of 3 months to get that prima facie determination. I'm going to take pause to answer this question. So how long after the VAWA application does it take to get a work permit? Right now, it's taking 7 to 11 months. Now, keep in mind, though, Finn's Mami, that when you get the work permit is going to depend on how you apply. So, for example, if you applied based on a U.S. citizen, Then at the same time that you're applying for VAWA, you could apply for you would be able to apply for a work permit, adjustment of status, and travel document. Right now, just because the priority date is current on spouses of U.S. Spouses of citizen residents, then you would be able to apply for the same thing. So the petition, the adjustment of status, the work permit, and the travel document, but that may not last. Because when there's a wait list, then what will have to happen is once you have to wait for an immigrant visa number. And so that's where it's very important for you to get representation, because some of this can get very technical as to timing that you're applying for the work permit. And it depends on your relationship and whether you have a current immigrant visa number available to you. If you don't have a current immigrant visa number available to you, it's at that point that you will have to first submit the VAWA application, and you would have to wait for a decision. You'd have to wait for a final approval. But if you get to apply the adjustment of status along with the work permit and travel document with the petition, then you would be able to get the work permit 7 to 11 months after. But as for the VAWA petition itself, without filing for the adjustment of status, it's taking over a year just to get the approval on that. So, and then after that, if you apply after that, you could be waiting 7 to 11 months to get the work permit. So go ahead, if you want particular legal advice, specific legal advice to you to get representation through the process, because I never advise you to do this process on your own, schedule a consultation. You can always do that by going to the link in my bio, where you will be able to schedule your appointment. Now, after we've submitted your application, by that point, I have determined that you qualify. I go ahead and gather the documentation. I submit all the evidence and along with the legal arguments on your behalf, and then we wait. After they've reviewed the evidence, there are two things that can happen. If they've missed anything or they would like additional information, they'll send a request for evidence. And that could be for any one of the requirements. That could be maybe for your background check, because you do have to do a background check. That's what I do for my clients as well. They may ask for more information about your marriage, whether it was bona fide. All of that is very important to prepare your application in advance, because those are the different requirements other than just showing evidence of mistreatment that you have to show. And so if you don't, if they feel like they need more information, or if you haven't included that, you'll get a request for evidence. But if they have reviewed all the evidence and they feel like if everything in your application is true, then you would qualify and they would approve it. They would go ahead and submit what's called the Prima Facie Determination. They'll issue that to you. The Prima Facie Determination would allow you to get benefits depending on the state you're in. So if you're in need of food assistance, housing, in some states, driver's license, then those would be what you would be able to get in the state, but it's a state by state. However, at the minimum, what a Prima Facie Determination shows is that you are on the right path. It's a good thing. And that they believe, the officer who evaluated your case on a preliminary basis believes that all the evidence qualifies you, but they are going to have to do a more detailed check to confirm you qualify. So I'm going to do a recap here. So it's a step in the right direction. It's sort of like a pre-approval saying that they believe you qualify. They just have to review it in more detail. That's where making sure you have a consistent application is very important. because what they do is they send out the prima facie, but they also review it to make sure it all makes sense and it fits together. And then, so that's the first, is that it's a good sign. And the second is that if you're in a state that provides benefits based on a prima facie determination, there are states that can offer benefits like food assistance, housing, and other types of human social services. But you would have, at that point that you get the notice, it's really state by state, and you'd have to check with your human services department or the welfare department. All right, I'm going to take pauses to look at some questions here. So talk about the diversity visa, please. So the diversity visa is a type of, so it's basically the lottery for the green card, and only there are certain countries that can qualify if you're a citizen of that country. Then you can enter. It's usually around October. They open it up. When they close it, they select individuals at random. Now, keep in mind, there are certain educational requirements and or work experience requirements that you may have to meet. So, for example, if you have never done any kind of schooling, then at that point you may not qualify for it. But keep in mind that if you don't have the schooling to show, then you can show work experience as a substitute. But Belizean baby, if you would like specific legal advice, you can always schedule a consultation, and we can talk about whether you qualify for this. You can also go to the Department of State's website. If you type in diversity lottery, they will go ahead and give you the information you need, which countries qualify right now, and what the requirements are. Finns Mammy, they kind of make it difficult when people are trapped in an abusive relationship. Talking about the background check, when I spoke to our local court, they told me they can't give a background report as I've never been in trouble. So Finns Mammy, yes, I do work with police agencies all around the country, and I've never had an issue, but I have heard, especially when you're trying to do it, you're trying to go down there and maybe you don't have your immigration status, sometimes you can be brushed off. But when I do it on behalf of my clients, I make sure that I thoroughly explain the situation, and I explain my client's rights to the officer, and explain the reason that this is necessary. And at that point, I've never had an issue, but I have heard of this happening just because, just because sometimes when people hear about you being out of status, or you're an immigrant here, they especially officers who may not understand immigration law or the process, they may be hesitant at a minimum to provide that. So that's one of the ways that I help my clients to get through this process. So I spearhead the entire process for my clients, and I take care of the background check. I take care of the evidence. I correspond with the USCIS. If there is any additional information, I'm the one that I do that for my clients. And so I do know what I'm doing, and I'm an experienced immigration attorney in this field. And that's the benefit here, is that you don't have to risk, the stress of it, and also any errors or roadblocks that may be put in your way. All right, so I got married before 90 days. How do I prove, let's see, how do I prove it wasn't intentional to get married on a visa? So Katie, the stallion, that is going into complex territory. I recommend you get legal advice and representation through your process. It's going to depend on what your circumstances are. If you came here and you really didn't intend to, this wasn't, no, it's not that it's intentional to get married, but what they're looking out for within that 90 days is, did you intend at the time you were entering, did you intend to stay? And then the presumption is, if you've gotten married within the 90 days, that there was some presumption, there was some intention at the time you were entering. And so the evidence that if that question does come up, the kinds of evidence that you would have to show is going to depend on what happened in your case. So Katie the Stallion, this is where I say, don't gamble with your future in the United States. If you are concerned, get legal representation, and don't do this process without further getting legal representation, because that's where things start going south, is where you try to do this process on your own and you don't fully understand the implications of it. So the first step is schedule a consultation, and let's talk about your situation to determine whether there is anything concerning, and then move forward from there. Let's see, but it was in the state next door. Yeah. So African King 9. So yes, I am Jamaican. Do you need a legal representation? Do you need a legal representative to bring my fiance from Honduras? So that's your choice. What I usually say is, how valuable is your future with your fiance in the United States to you? If it is valuable, if you want to make sure that you go about this process correctly, you should at least start with a consultation and then get legal representation through the process after you fully determine what this is going to take. That's my question to you. So when I ask you, when I say, do you need a legal representative, I'm going to say it's your choice. But what you need to ask yourself is, how valuable is your future here in the United States? If it is something that is going to bring you a lot of value in the future, if it's priceless to you, then at that point, you need to invest. You need to invest in your future by getting a legal representative. Only record they have is when I've been the victim of domestic violence. So Finn's Mommy, go ahead and schedule a consultation, and we can definitely talk about your situation and how to move forward from there. So one thing I do want to mention here, though, is, so you said, what is the average fee for VAWA? I know every case is different. So the fee, I don't quote fees here, and I don't track other attorneys' fees. It is, and I usually do on a flat rate basis. Every case is different. They're all hard work. So it is definitely hard work, and it is definitely, I'm in it for the long run with my clients. I represent each of my clients for an average of 2 to 3 years. And so I can tell you, while every case is different, all of it is hard work. And now, Finn's Mommy, I noticed here you said that there is a record of him committing domestic violence against you. That would definitely qualify you. Now, if they have it on record, that would be valuable evidence. So that would be valuable evidence. It definitely, Finn's Mommy, if this is something that you're considering, you should definitely go ahead and schedule a consultation and do it right and get the help you need to get through it. And thank you so much for the compliment, Finn's Mommy, and thanks always for your support and tuning in. So let's see. Yeah, so Finn's Mommy, based on everything you're saying here, you facing domestic violence, definitely, and it being on record, that would be very good evidence of the fact that you qualify for VAWA. I would have to look at your other situations to make sure you qualify in every way. If I want to go to meet my boyfriend, what's easy way can I use to get to him, even if for 2 weeks? So it would be the visitor's visa. Do you work on a Friday evening for consults? Absolutely, Finn's Mammy, I do. You can go to the link in my bio, and when you go there, you can click on the link to schedule your own appointment, or you can call. There is a scheduling coordinator who's available up until 11 p.m. tonight. And over the weekends, the scheduling coordinators are out, but we still do have after hours receptionists who will answer, take your information, and pass it on to a scheduling coordinator the first thing Monday. So you can choose any one of those ways to go ahead and schedule a consultation. So, all right, so keep putting those questions in the comments. I will answer your questions. Now, Finn's Mammy, do they use text messages and photographs, video evidence? So video evidence is not, that is not permissible. So sending disk or USB, devices is not permitted. Everything has to be in paper form. Photographs, it does work. What I would say, Finn's Mammy, is that it is very, very flexible. The evidence that they accept is flexible. So it is any credible evidence, any evidence that is believable evidence. So photographs, screenshots of the video, key parts of the video, certified transcripts of tape, any recordings would be good evidence. Cheyenne, so I'm going to make a consultation with you soon. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Can you help with the visitor's visa paperwork? So it depends on the complexity of the case. Usually with a visitor's visa, it's usually a short application that you would find on the embassy's website. If it's a complex situation where I do have to get involved, that's where I would. But in order to determine that, or to determine whether this is something you'll need help on, you will need to schedule a consultation. I wasn't here. Is there a hold up for I-130 petitions 2021? There's no hold on the I-130 petition, DOMS. But they are taking very long. How long does it take to get an interview to remove conditional green card? An average of 2 years right now. My OPT is about to expire and I need advice. So Cheyenne 585, definitely schedule a consultation. We can look at how to move forward with other options should those be available to you, but it's going to come down to your personal circumstances. So let's see. How long does it take to get interviewed to remove the, so on my OPT, does that include statements from other people? So yes, you have to make sure that these statements are drafted in a way that is going to be accepted as evidence. So while you can get witness statements, it has to be drafted specifically, and that's what I help my clients with. Is there a delay in I-130 applications from 2020? Yes, so there's a delay overall, just because of COVID, and also before there was a backlog, and so it's gotten worse. Why is it so hard to get a visitor's visa to Canada? I'm not a Canadian immigration attorney, so I wouldn't be able to answer that one, Proud Mama. Can your filing start in another country and you move to the USA before it's finished, to finish there? So it depends, Louvet, Nicole, it really depends. That's where you're going to have to schedule a consultation, because I don't know what your situation is. I don't know how you plan to qualify. Have you applied for? Usually the case is if we're outside of the United States, you'll have to finish it outside of the United States. But there are some limited circumstances where you may be able to come in and apply, finish the process here. It just depends. All right. So I am going to head on over to Instagram right now, Instagram or Facebook. On Facebook, I'm ST Law Office. Let me see if I can put that in the comments. So I'm ST Law Office on Instagram if you want to continue this conversation. And I'm the immigration attorney on Instagram, the same as here. So also the Instagram button is on the Instagram button is on the homepage. So you can go and, oh, Haley, great. Well, thanks for joining me there as well, Finn's Mammy. So go ahead, join me there. I'm going to continue this conversation. I just wanted to talk about the Prima Facie Determination. If you get one, it's a good thing. It means that if everything on your application is true, they believe you qualify. They just have to review it in a more detailed way, and they need more time to do that. And so they issue the Prima Facie Determination to give you an opportunity to go to, if you need help, if you need benefits, if you need a driver's license. Some states do allow that if you have the Prima Facie Determination. While keep in mind that it's different from state to state, but once you get the Prima Facie Determination, you can check your state to see if you could get food assistance, you could get an ID, you could get housing assistance, or any other types of social benefits that they have. All right, thanks so much for your questions. Let me see, I have two more that I want to answer here. Can we add more evidence to our I-130 application, even if it has been sent already? Yeah, absolutely, that's a possibility. Keep in mind, you have to make sure to send it to the right place so it gets, it does get to the application. Is there any way I could travel to the Caribbean while waiting on a date for my interview? It depends. I wouldn't be able to tell you, because remember, the information I'm giving you here is not personal legal advice, it's general information. And so, Ayana, it's going to depend on what's going on in your situation. Where are you now? If you're in the US and you have adjustment of status, if you have it at that point, if you're going through adjustment of status, you would not be able to travel unless you have a travel document. And if you're traveling, you shouldn't be spending extended periods of time outside of the United States if you're waiting for your adjustment of status interview. Otherwise, it really depends. But if you are really concerned, get legal advice and representation through your process. Can't stress it enough. Sometimes I get these consultations where the errors have already been done, and at that point they've gotten a notice of intent to deny, or they've gotten a nasty request for evidence, and they don't know how to go from there. So I always say, don't risk your future in the United States. Invest by scheduling a consultation and getting the help that you need from someone who knows what they're doing. All right, so I'll see you in a minute on Instagram. Finn's Mammy, thanks so much. And I hope you are able to have a good weekend. So one more, hello, please, can I file the travel document without approval TPS? So if you don't have any status, you haven't been approved for TPS. I don't know your full situation, so I wouldn't be able to give you an accurate or specific answer here. But if TPS is the only thing you're applying for and you haven't been approved yet, I would not be traveling until I get it. But I don't know until I can speak with you and get your detailed information. Thanks so much, everyone. I will see you on Instagram or Facebook in a minute. If I don't see you there, I will see you on Sunday. So I will be out tomorrow, but you can continue to keep in touch with me, continue to watch the videos that I post on Instagram. I don't post videos on this TikTok. I post on YouTube and I post on Instagram. So you can continue to follow me there. I'm the immigration attorney, both on YouTube and Instagram. So if you follow me there throughout the day tomorrow, you'll see different videos about different immigration topics that you will probably be very interested in. And then Sunday night, I will come back. Danmi, you're welcome. Sunday night, I will come back and we will continue this. I'm usually here every night with very few exceptions. So tomorrow is going to be one of those few exceptions. And I'm usually here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm sorry, 9 o'clock. So I'm here 9 o'clock Eastern time, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll see you in a minute where we can continue to have a conversation, or if I don't see you here on Instagram, I hope to speak with you in a consultation where I can help you to move forward. Have a good night, everyone. Enjoy your weekend if I don't see you.